freedom,
family,
world unity,
all these things and more will be discussed on this podcast.
real stories, real people, real debates. On this podcast, we like to express our freedoms and talk about anything and everything goes.
Like freedom, family is important to us, and anybody that is listening, watching, or coming on the show as a guest star are all considered part of the greatest family to ever bless the solar system, the human race. No matter who you are, where you come from, you will always have a voice here on this podcast.
We like to flex our First Amendment, where all speeches and opinions are accepted for the right of freedom of speech. We have a saying we like to live by. Live life with eyes wide open. Being open-minded leads to true understanding of the world as it really is. Please, come, join us, and enjoy this experience as we embark on this journey of truth as we dismantle the subjective truth. I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria.
And you're experiencing high consciousness.
Disclaimer. Any and all information on topics presented are to the best of all who is present in each episode's knowledge. The goal of this podcast is to bring people together and set the example we all wish to see in our everyday lives. Whether it's home life, education, politics, history, business, etc. Any and all subjects can and will be talked and peacefully debated about on this podcast. On debate episodes, there will be a set rules of debate that hosts and guests alike must follow. We ask that you, the audience, like we ask of our guests, in the comments to please try to keep the language as clean as possible. We are a podcast for entertainment as well as educational purposes. Here we are all equal no matter what race, age, or gender. Thank you, and enjoy the show. Hi, y'all.
I'm your host, Nicholas.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria.
And we
are
are
High
High
Consciousness. Welcome to a new episode, everybody, and welcome back. If you are new here, please hit that like and subscribe button. And please, please, please like these videos and share to get us going in the algorithm. We see a whole bunch of people viewing, but we don't see a whole lot of likes, which is hurting us in the algorithm, and we are still being shadow banned. You still can't look us up on Google, so please help us get a little uncensored and get going through the algorithm by liking and sharing the videos. Please, please, please like and share the videos as much as possible. So, anyway, today, a little recap of Chapter 13.
About the secret societies in America. About how Benjamin Franklin, who a man that never was a lawyer, never actually written anything in our law books or anything, but
his words became law. And then we also learned about Sir Francis Bacon and how he was the one that was the major spearhead 100 years before Benjamin Franklin of the foundation of our country. And he had set many of his own secret societies, which he was the head of, one, and then he had ties with others in, I think it was Germany and France and a couple of other places where they all came over here to establish other secret societies to start the American civilization and the colonies.
And this is really quite interesting on how each character that we learned in this book is just more and more a reflection of how they affect our everyday life in a society standpoint. And it's just really interesting.
Secret societies are based pretty much off of religious or spiritual type kind of foundations. And with these foundations, it built our civilization, and not only our civilization, but it also built the foundations of how we run our governments. So this is where last chapter, chapter 13, we kind of learned and can see that politics and religion are not as separate as we have thought in the past, but maybe that they are very connected to each other, like, you know, intertwined or entangled together. And so today is chapter 14.
Chapter 14, and what this chapter indulges into is a prophecy that was written in the days of Washington's birth. Or in the year of Washington's birth, I should say.
Prophecy written in the year of Washington's birth.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And this one actually has a little picture, description, as y'all can see. Right here.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to do PowerPoint and stuff to put that up there, because I did in a reel as a little sneak peek. I finally started to figure out how to do reels, y'all. This sounds a little old of me, but I'm a little slow to the tech game, and we've known this from the very get-go with episode 1 and 2, where we flat out admitted, like, hey, we need help.
But we're making progress. We're making some big progress. Trust and believe us.
Mm-hmm.
So, in this chapter 14, we're going to learn about a character named Sir William Hope. So, Sir William Hope noted the birth overseas of an infant starred by fate to rule both freemen and slaves, and named the year of the American Declaration of Independence 44 years before it was signed. He gave in his Kabbalistic form Kabbalistic form the patriot leader's name and the years of his lifetime span. The prophecy also singled out Abraham Lincoln, designated the term of Benjamin Harrison as one to mark the first century of the new nation's progress. It is a reasonable assumption that the Hope prophecy is a genuine example of foreknowledge of the destiny of the United States.
Ooh.
So, 44 years, this man made a prophecy about the United States 44 years before the American Declaration, before Abraham, and pretty much predicted Abraham Lincoln and Harrison's Ford. And not Harrison Ford, but Harrison, which is our President Harrison. Not Harrison Ford, but our President Harrison.
Benjamin Harrison.
Mm-hmm. Benjamin Harrison. In the Congressional Library at Washington, D.C. is a curious little book entitled Vindication of the True Arts of Self-Defense. It is a work of fencing and dueling, published in 1724 by Sir William Hope. Bart, a deputy governor of Edinburgh Castle, in this copy and facing the title page, engraving has been inserted of the badge of the Royal Society of Swordsmen. So this book had a seal of a secret society of swordsmen, of that kind of community. Underneath it is written, Private Library of Sir William Hope. The Library of Congress has had this book since 1879. The text of this curious little book is no special interest, but on the blank fly-leaves is written in the hand of Sir William Hope an extraordinary prediction concerning the destiny of the United States of America. It was written, signed, and dated 44 years before the beginning of the Revolutionary War. At the time, the 13 American colonies seemingly had no dream of independence. George Washington had just been born in Virginia. 20 of the 56 men who were to sign the Declaration of Independence were then small boys, and 18 others were yet unborn. Yeah, right? Yeah. He legitimately written this when George Washington was born, and 20 of the 56 men were just small boys, and 18 of the others were not even born yet.
When the prophecy was written.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was just like, wait, what? Hold up.
44
I needed a
years,
little more clarification.
44 years before the Declaration of Independence was signed.
That's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Little information is available concerning Sir William Hope. Because, once again, this book has been written in 1944, so there might be a little bit more information out there on Sir William Hope.
Now that,
80 years
80 years later, almost 100 years since this book was written, I'm sure we dug up a lot more, documents or, logs or records somewhere of more of Sir William Hope.
But from the text of his prediction, it appears that he was devoted to the study of astrology and based his strange prophetic poem upon an interpretation of the starry influences. There is also a hint of the Kabbalah in the main manner used by Hope to indicate the man referred to in his prediction. So we're about to go into the prophecy, and here it goes as it says. The prophecy of Sir William Hope begins with these lines: "Tis Chaldee.
Tis Chaldee.
Tis Chaldee says his fate is great, whose stars do bear him fortunate. Oh, they near fate America. I read in stars a prophecy. 14 divided, 12 the same. 16 in half, each holds a name. 4, 8, 7, 6, added 10. The lifeline's mark of 4 great men. Of 4 great men." Isn't that juicy? And the correlation. What do you guys think about that part of the prophecy? This is the beginning of it too.
Well, 14 divided, 12 the same. So, what does that mean exactly? 14 divided and 12 the same. 16 and a halves, each holds a name.
Well, let's think about it in polymath.
So, I guess maybe
let's think about
14 plus 12. So that's 26. Plus 16, that would be 42. 4, 8, 10.
14
4,
divided.
8, 7, 6, added 10. I don't know. There's a whole lot to do with numbers.
Yes, it does, and it's something to do with polymath too. Here, we're about to break it down. It's about to get broken down right here.
He read ahead, I didn't, so I'm clueless.
Well, I didn't want to slaughter the words as bad as I did the last previous chapters. I know I'm doing a better job now because I'm not stumbling on my words. So, but it's progress. I know. Little 10th grade reading over here with pronunciation, but
I just want to add one thing. I like the fact that we came up with the idea that the other person just reads ahead and the other one doesn't read at all, and so I'm either you or me, depending on who is reading that chapter. We're equally as surprised as the rest of the audience, and can throw back these questions and stuff that just pop right at the top of the head.
Yeah. So here's what we can get from what we read. From the text, the prophecy covers the period from 1732 to 1901. From the history of our country during this period of time, Hope selected 4 men, and the numbers which he used to indicate them are shown as the prophecy unfolds. He summarizes the lives of these 4 men by totaling the number of years they each lived. He does this in the line 4, 8, 7, 6 added 10. 4 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 equals 25. The added 10 is the cipher, making a total of 250. The time of his death, George Washington was 68. Abraham Lincoln was 56. Benjamin Harris was 68. Benjamin Harrison was 68. And Will McKinley was 58. The total of these years is 250. So he basically used the numbers and predicted their lives of what they're going to live on. 4, 8, 7, 6 added 10. 4 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 equals 25. The added 10 is the cipher, making a total of 250. So when they say added 10, does that mean times 10? I guess that's what they would, how you would guess multiplication. Because when you say added 10, I'm thinking you just add 10 more, not multiply by 10. But from what I'm reading,
it would be to say added 10. It's like as if to say times it by 10. Multiply it by 10.
Yes. Once again, the book written in 1944's terminology for multiplication was probably a little bit different.
And if this is, prior to 1944, then we also have to think about how the way that they may or may not possibly have done math back in, what would it be, 1690? No, it'll be 1720.
44
it'd be like
years.
1725 or so?
1732.
1732?
Yeah.
Hey, I was close. I guesstimated. I haven't read the chapter ahead of time, so I don't know.
Yeah,
so I just
it says right here
quick math in my head.
It covers the period of time of 1732 to 1901.
Oh, well, yeah, we already did go over that, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's 1732
to 1901.
Well,
250 years.
This prophecy part right here is talking about
the four great
men and their lives, and how added 10 might mean multiplication, I'm just trying to question the fact of maybe back in 1732 when this was written, the way that they did math, when they would say add 10, maybe they meant multiply 10, and us here in the modern world today, with the way that we are taught math, we would think, oh, add 10, so then we would be like, 4 plus 10. Oh, that's only 14.
But I think it's the it did part that makes it a multiplication.
Yeah, that's where the explanation of the prophecy makes it seem more like it means multiply by 10, because otherwise you don't get 250 otherwise.
No, you'll get 35.
You get 25.
No, you get 35.
Oh, yeah, 35. Yeah.
Because 4 plus 6 plus 7 plus 6 equals 25.
Then added 10 in the cipher means a total 250.
So times it by 10.
Which is the amount of...
multiplication of 10. So we're just getting our terminology right here, but 250 years is what is added upon, because...
So,
because George Washington...
When they say add 10,
George Washington died when he was 68. Abraham Lincoln died when he was 56. Benjamin Harrison died at 68. Will Mckinley died at 58. And you add them all those together, that goes up to the total of 250 years. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. He added their lives together to get 250 years.
But I wonder why it had to be 4876. That's the part that I'm trying to kind of decipher a little bit myself, because it's like, okay, the 6th part I can see with George Washington living to 68 maybe, and then the other parts it doesn't make any sense. So it's like, how do you why 4, 8, 7, and 6 being the chosen number to get 200?
Well, that's why it's a poem, as a prophecy in a poem.
Man, the old ancient world is confusing, man.
It's in a poem. Your answer is 250. And there's 4 great men.
Which is a total lifetime of...
And guess what? This is only the beginning part of the prophecy. There's more to it.
Bruh. I'm already this confused. Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Alright, so let's continue on.
The next 12 lines were devoted to a description of George Washington and the struggle of the American colonies for independence. This day is cradled far beyond the sea, one starried by fate to rule both bond and free. The prophecy is dated 1732, and in that year, George Washington was born beyond the sea in Virginia. The reference to bound and free is believed to indicate that slavery would exist during Washington's time in the colony of Virginia. Added double 4, thus fixed the destined day, when servile knees unbend neath freedom's sway. By double 4, we can read 44, which if added to the date 1732, which gives 1776, the year of the American Declaration of Independence.
Oh, okay, that's spooky. Oh, that's spooky. Oh, that's spooky. Oh, that's spooky. Oh, I got chill bumps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As we continue on, place 6, 410. Then read the patriot's name, whose deeds shall link him to a deathless fame. Added double 4, thus 6, the destined day. There are 6 letters in the name George, and 10 in Washington. Place 6, 410. That's.
Oh, place 6 before 10.
No, place 6, 410.
No. What? It's cut off right there as an apostrophe because back in those days in Old English, the way that they would speak, it would be like good example. Wow, I'm blanking. I just had an example on my brain, and then brain fart, literally. But it's apostrophe there, to say before 10.
Place 6 before 10, then read the patriot's name. And then, as it says right here, there are 6 letters in the name George and 10 in Washington.
Because George comes before Washington.
In this Kabbalah, when added to the previous and subsequent descriptions, can leave no doubt as to the man intended in the prophecy, whose growing love and ceaseless trust wrong none, and catch truth colors from his glowing sun. Death's door shall cling while yet his century waits. His planets point the way to other pending fates. Wonder what that line means.
So I just want to put my own eyes on that one more time. Okay. Whose growing love and ceaseless trust wrong none, and catch truth's colors from its glowing sun. Death's door shall clang while yet his century waits. His planets point the way to others' pending fates. Death's door shall clang while his century waits.
Or centurio waits.
No, that's century. No, century.
While his century awaits.
Meaning planets and stars aligning pending fate. So meaning that America or Georgia's fate or all the fates were within the stars.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Kind of like what my little whiteboard says over there. The answer is in the stars.
No, here you go. These lines contain not only a glowing tribute but an exact bit of prophecy. Washington died on December 14th, 1799, just 7 days before his century passed into history. Before his century passed into history. And that's what that means, that his century, death's door shall clang while yet his century waits. And then his planets point the way to other pending fates, therefore saying there'll be other leaders like George Washington. But he is not going to make it past the century.
Dude.
Because growing love and ceaseless trust wrong none. And one trusted George Washington.
And apparently he didn't really wrong anybody.
And
he was one of the kindest people in recorded history, supposedly from when I went to a trip to Virginia with a former friend of mine. We did a little digging and looked at the plaques and stuff on George Washington's plantation. And
I've been to George Washington's plantation, went to his house and everything. It's nice. Actually.
Yep.
Did you go?
Yeah, I went that one time with Josh. And I saw like one of the plaques where, or maybe it was one of the bookcases. I don't know. It was some piece of article or whatever that was there, some kind of documentation saying that George Washington was like really, really kind to his slaves, and that there's even rumor going about that some like people with the last name Washington, black or white, are probably direct bloodlines to George Washington and the slaves that he got jiggy with and apparently was very good to, and raised those slave sons right, and then also gave them their freedom. And I was like, whoa. So not only did he get jiggy with the slaves, but he was like really good to his slaves, man or woman, and when the slave women bore children that were his, he was very good to the children, and he did not deny that they were not his.
So
or he did not deny that they were his.
So, in other words, George Washington was an overall good person. Can't really demonize him for anything.
Yeah, he wronged none. Literally wronged nobody. Not even the women that bore children to him that were slaves under him. And he gave his slave sons and daughters freedom.
Now, we go on to the next part of the prophecy. 'Tis the name on freedom's scroll shall fade. 2 tombs be built. His lofty cenotaph. Cenotaph?
Cenotaph?
Yeah, that's what.
Lofty cenotaph be made?
Made? Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So, I don't know what that means.
Cenotaph.
Let's see what cenotaph means. What does cenotaph? Wait, how do you spell it?
Cenotaph.
Oh, there it is.
A monument. Oh, it's just a monument.
Buried elsewhere, especially when commemorating people who died in a war. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, so that's like talking about his statues and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Speak.
Freedom Scroll is the that's real interesting stuff, right? So once again, the prophecy already made it known that there will be monuments built of him. Freedom Scroll is in the Declaration of Independence, which is now carefully preserved under yellow cellophane, because the signatures have begun to fade. The body of George Washington has rested in 2 tombs, and his lofty cenotaph, the Washington Monument, is 55 feet high, the tallest memorial ever constructed to the memory of a man. Yeah, the big pointy thing. That's
So, his body has been in the big pointy thingy.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's still in the big pointy thingy.
More than likely.
I wonder where in the big pointy thingy. Is it in the top?
We're not talking about.
I mean, I've never visited DC.
Yeah,
like,
one time, but we never.
But we didn't go over to like
No, we
the
didn't.
White House and the Capitol and stuff like that. We need to.
We did go to the White House.
No,
Well,
we
I
didn't.
did.
You did.
I did. You did.
We went to the museums.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed like right there. We didn't go toward the White House and the monuments and go say what's up to Lincoln and stuff. Like, we didn't do all that.
No.
Like, I really wanted to, but we just didn't have time.
Well, not necessarily we didn't have time to. It was more the fact that we got sidetracked with our friend Barry.
Yeah. Good old Barry. Love you, Barry.
Anyway, full 6 times, 10 the years, must onward glide. Nature their potent help, a constant prudent guide. Full 6 times, 10 the years, must onward glide. Nature their potent help, a constant prudent guide.
Okay. So,
What can you get from that, babe?
full 6 times 10 the years must onward glide. So that's 60 years. Nature, their potent help, a constant prudent guide. So are we talking about after George Washington died now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happened 60 years later? Isn't that when the British came to... No? No, that was 1812. That was two. Yeah. Yeah, I'm wrong on that one. I don't know.
It's 6 times 10 years, or 60 years. So 60 years is what it's saying.
Okay, so I was right on that one.
Be added to the date of the death of Washington. So you got to add the date of George Washington's death.
1859.
No, 1859. That's just the result. The result is 1859. You got to add 60 years to the death of George Washington.
Which is 1799, which if you add that plus 60, you get 1859.
When John Brown raided Harper's Ferry and was hanged for attempting to incite a slave revolt, a circumstance leading directly to the United States of America engaging in the Great Civil War to preserve the freedom of all its people. It predicted the Civil War. The prophecy did.
And nature, their potent help, a constant prudent guide. So,
Basically saying is that...
hold on. I want to look up real quick, because I'm not so keen on John Brown and Harper's Ferry. I'm not very educated on that. John Brown and Harper's Ferry. Hey, there it is. Okay. A radical abolitionist during wait.
There's a movie about him, actually. If that's the same dude I'm thinking about, I think it has Will McKinley in it. It's a movie based upon him, I believe. Or it may not be the same story, but...
Okay.
Go down real quick.
It was an effort. Well, let's not go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is always like constantly messed with. Well, we go to history.com. Maybe. American Battlefield Trust. Sure. So, okay, yeah. There we go. I'm gonna trust this site over anything. Probably. John Brown's Harper's Ferry raid. On the evening of October 16th, 1859, John Brown, a staunch abolitionist, and a group of supporters left their farmhouse hideout en route to Harper's Ferry. Descending upon the town in the early hours of October 17th, Brown and his men captured prominent citizens and seized the federal armory and arsenal. Brown had hopes that the local slave population would join the raid, and through the raid's success, weapons would be supplied to slaves and freedom fighters throughout the country. This was not to be. First held down by the local militia in the late morning of the 17th, Brown took refuge in the arsenal's engine house. However, this sanctuary from the firestorm did not last long, when in the late afternoon, U.S. Marine Colonel Robert E. Lee... I actually, dated somebody that's related to Robert E. Lee, it's freaking... That's spooky. He arrived and stormed the engine house, killing many of the raiders and capturing Brown. Brown was quickly placed on trial and charged with treason against the state of Virginia, murder, and slave insurrection. Brown was sentenced to death for his crimes and hanged on December 2nd, 1859. Wow.
That's what John Brown looks like.
So, was he a white guy?
Yes, essentially.
He was... Okay. Born in Torrington, Connecticut, John Brown belonged to a devout family with extreme anti-slavery views. He married twice and fathered 20 children! Goodness! That boy getting busy. Woo! The expanding family moved with Brown throughout his travels, residing in Idaho, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and New York. Brown failed at several business ventures before declaring bankruptcy in 1842. Still, he was able to support the abolitionist cause by becoming a conductor to the Underground Railroad and establishing the League of Gileadites? Yeah, League of Gileadites, I think. Gileadites. I don't know. An organization established to help runaway slaves escape to Canada. In 1849, Brown moved to the free black farming of North Elba, New York. Wow. I think I have family that used to live around there. At the age of 55, Brown moved with his sons to the Kansas Territory. In response to the sacking of Lawrence, Kansas, John Brown led a small band of men to Pottawatomie Creek on May 24th, 1856. That's my birthday, dude! May 24th? Wow! The men dragged 5 unarmed men and boys believed to be slavery proponents from their homes and brutally murdered them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Afterwards, Brown raided Missouri, freeing 11 slaves and killing the slave owner. So, this is a white man doing all of this.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Well, I guess, you can't say all white people are evil. Because you got some of them, apparently, in the past, even, along with Abraham Lincoln, that had, anti-slavery views and literally saw every man, woman, and child, no matter what color they were, as free people.
And as far as killing the other opposition.
And, yeah, this white man went as far as to go and kill the other white man.
Now, let's stop labeling with color. Where's this stuff?
I mean, this is stuff that's, unheard of and stuff that you don't really, learn about.
Yes.
I mean, you do, but you don't. They don't really, touch on it a whole lot.
No, they don't. It's not like key points.
But that was a good little John Brown history review.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. Then faithful 7, 4-7 shall sign, heroic son, whom Mars and Jupiter strike down before his work is done. When cruel fate shall pierce through artless of its sword, who leaves life gloomy stage without one farewell word. A softly beaming star, half veiled by Mars, red cloud virtue, his noblest cloak shall form a fitting shroud. Can you guess who they're talking about?
So, faithful 7 before 7.
Shall sign heroic son.
Now we're getting 747 shall sign a heroic son, whom Mars and Jupiter strike down before his work is done. Cruel fate shall pierce through the artless of the sword.
Who leaves life's gloomy stage without one farewell word. Just so you'll read ahead. Remember, 4 great men.
Okay, so we got George Washington. Then it talks about, that was John Brown, right? That last one?
Mm-hmm.
And then...
But that's not really a key point for John Brown, though. Let's see. Yeah, nope. John Brown's not one of them.
Oh.
That was one of the events that started up the Civil War.
It was just predicting the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when John Brown did. Yeah, that's why John Brown was part of it. So...
Use your context clues, baby.
So 1859, so then... Darn it. Okay. I kind of...
Hold up, y'all. Sorry, we're not. Y'all not with us right now.
I'm kind of... Okay, so... 1859... Penny? Okay. Ooh. Wait a minute.
Sidetrack here.
I'm sorry, I'm on a thought track. Wait, Lincoln was born when? 1809. Okay, he was assassinated in 65. Is it Abraham Lincoln?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got it right! Ah! Sorry, y'all. I got it right! Ah!
There are 7 letters in Abraham and 7 letters in Lincoln.
That's why 7...
He is the heroic son elected to the presidency in 1860, re-elected in 1864, and assassinated April 14th, 1865. He was indeed struck down before his work was done, for slavery was not abolished by constitutional amendment until the end of that year, and the Civil War was not proclaimed to be at an end until August 20th, 1866. The reference to life blooming stage is the more extraordinary because Lincoln was assassinated at Ford Theaters.
That's right! Life's gloomy stage, and he was killed at a theater. Oh, bruh!
While watching a play, and he never spoke again after the assassin's bullet struck him through. He lived for several hours. Reference to Benjamin Harrison are contained in the 2 following lines. They then 848, a later generation rules, with light undimmed and shed in progress school.
Dude, that's spooky. And we're still talking about the same prophecy poem that was written in 1732?
Mm-hmm. The prophecy takes place in 1776 to 1901.
Dude, that's freaking nuts to me. Wow. But how in the world?
Then here we go. There are 8 letters in Benjamin and 8 in Harrison. He ruled in a later generation, 1889 to 1893. His administration was justly climaxed by the Great Columbian Exposition at Chicago in 1893. Here, because it cuts off. Here, invention, transportation, industry, art, science, and agriculture exhibited the progress which they had made in the first century of American national existence. This is probably the progress school referred to in the prediction. Harrison's administration was not dimmed by war or by any scandals in high office. And then we go into another part of the prophecy. Then 6 again, when added 6 shall rise. Resplendent ruler, good and great and wise. 4 sixes hold a glittering star that on his way shall shine, and twice 4 sixes mark his year from birth to manhood's prime.
That did what? Huh? Wait, what? Okay. Then 6 again, with added 6 shall rise, resplendent ruler, good, great, and wise. 4 sixes hold a glittering star that on his way shall shine, and twice 4 sixes mark his years from birth to manhood's prime. Okay, so 6 again, then added 6 shall rise. So we're saying added again, so does that mean times? Multiply again? So 6 times 6, 36? And then 4 sixes hold a glittering star. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sixes. 4 times 6, 28? No. No, 6 times 4 is 24, right? Yeah, it's 24.
Mm-hmm. On the right.
And twice 4 sixes marks years from his birth. So then what? 24 plus 24 is 48.
To birth his manhood prime. I don't know. Well, let's see.
I don't know. I can't figure that one out.
You're on the right path with 24. While the verses accurately describe President McKinley, this is the only instance in which the numbers do not appear to fit the name. Research, however, indicates that the original form of the family named were permit it to be divided. Thus, Will Mckinley, which means Will, the son of Kinley, in this form, each of the combinations will contain 6 letters, 4 sixes, or 24. Agrees with President McKinley being the 24th man to hold the presidential office. And twice 4 sixes, or 48, was the age of McKinley. At the time he was elected governor of his native state, which might be said to be his manhood's prime. There is no reference to McKinley's second term or his assassination. McKinley was assassinated? Huh.
How many presidents got assassinated? As far as I know, it was JFK and Abraham Lincoln.
And now we got McKinley
And now we got McKinley too?
that was assassinated?
The what?
Huh?
The 24th president of the United States got assassinated.
But the prophecy definitely states that it goes no further than the end of the 19th century. It does not indicate earlier, however, that McKinley's life was to be 58 years, which was correct. The prophecy ends with 4 more lines. These truth prophetics shall completion see. Years, times, deep grave received the 19th century. All planets, stars, 12 signs, and horoscopes attest these certain truths foretold by William Hope. Following this, it's a statement that the prophecy was written at Cornhill, London, 1732. At the bottom of the page are 4 other lines written by some later member of the Hope family as a tribute to the memory of Sir William Hope. The learned hand that have writ these lines no more shall pen for me, yet voice shall speak and pulses beat for long posterity. This soul refined through love of kind, bewailed life's labors spent, then found this truth his search from youth. Greatness is God's accident.
James Hope.
And this page right here, for y'all, that's the actual picture of the page of the poem that's in the Library of Congress. As you'll read on the fine print down below, that's what it.
Yeah. Photographic facsimile of the prophecy of Sir William Hope from a book which has been in the Library of Congress for more than 60 years.
As is usual with material of this kind, efforts have been made to prove that Hope prophecy is to be a forgery, but up to the present time, no tangible evidence has been advanced to disprove the prediction. Always in these matters, the critic takes the attitude that such predictions cannot be made, and if a writing appears to be authentic, then it must be an imposture. The book has been in the Library of Congress for more than 60 years. Well, now it's probably been in Congress for over 120 years now. The prediction about both Harrison and McKinley relate to incidents taking place after the book was placed in the Congressional Library.
Wait, what? Wait. In facsimile, one of the 2 pages of the original prophecy is illustrated here. Both have every appearance of being genuine and authentic. It is most reasonable to assume that the Hope prophecy
That's the one
is
right here that gets me.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you were in way far back.
I read way far ahead.
No, way back behind. I already read all that. It's this one right here. That's
the prediction about both Harrison and McKinley relates to incidents taking place after the book was placed in the Congressional Library. Yikes.
Yeah, that's why I call
So the prediction about both Harrison and Kinley relates to incidents taking place after the book was placed in there. So then does that mean that our secret societies potentially knew of this prophecy and they decided to bring this into fruition to prove
the last two parts of the prophecy? Because you gotta realize that those two didn't happen until it was in the library. George Washington.
until after?
Mm-hmm. In facsimile, one of the 2 pages of the original prophecy is illustrated here. That's the page I just showed y'all. Both have every appearance of being genuine and authentic. It is most reasonable to assume that the Hope prophecy is a genuine example of foreknowledge concerning the future of the United States of America.
Oh boy! Oh man, that's a heavy hitter.
And then the chapter that Tories want to read next, chapter 15, the unknown man who designed our flag.
Ooh, I can't wait for that one.
Wow, a lot to digest.
That is a lot to digest and pick apart, and any encryptor, experts or prophecy decoder experts out there, throw your thoughts in the comments and tell us what you think these prophecies were talking about. Or if there's anybody out there that knows anything about them, how true do you think that they are? Do you think some of them are false? Do you think there's a potentiality that maybe last two were maybe purposely done rather than organically happen? Because at that point, the secret societies that had built our government, they already knew these prophecies and they read them for a few years before the 100 years.
100 years. Remember, the prophecy was written in 1732.
Yeah, so it was like they had it in their possession for at least 40 years after the prophecy was written. It's if we want to track it to 60 years from 1944, I guess. Or not 60 years from 1944, but...
From 1732 is where you were tracking it, because then...
Yeah.
Because it goes up to 1776, which would be declared our independence, and then you do all the numbers, and then they...
But that's
the only one that doesn't make sense is McKinley, and that's because McKinley's name doesn't match up with the numbers, but the numbers match up, but his career matches up with his numbers.
But my thing is with prophecies that we have seen time and time again is that when you see a specific pattern, it has everything has a pattern, and it follows that continuous pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, because of the modern age spelling of the house name of McKinley or of Mr. William McKinley, I guess. It was not spelled in the way that it should have been in the old days, maybe 100 years prior. Maybe. Or 200 years prior.
Mm. Only...
Because, the way that they... I guess this is where I have to do a little more digging to see how exactly, the whole surnames and, McKinley, House and McKinley or something like that, how something like that might have been written in that time and how it might have changed within that 100 years or so. Well, it's probably 200 because it goes to 1901. And 100 years is between... So it's 170 years. Yeah, it's 170 years, roundabout. From prophecy written to 1901. And, 1901, they started, just really... kind of being oh, well, your last name is whatever, so that's your last name.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before, maybe 170 years before, it was like, oh, my name is, I don't know, Daniel of House, I don't know, Atreides. Daniel of House Atreides. I don't know.
As close as you're gonna get, right?
Like, that's about as close as I'm gonna get. But that's my estimate guess anyway. But any experts out there, drop your thoughts in the comments, and please, please, please like and share the videos so that way we can get going in the algorithm.
Yes.
And again, we are still being shadow banned. We are still being censored. So please hit those likes, share our videos as much as possible.
Monetized. We're also being monetized. Everything under the sun is what we're being under right now.
Yeah, it's rough, but hey, man.
We gotta keep on keeping on.
We just gotta keep on trucking.
The show, as they all say, the show must go on.
Yep, that's right. So, y'all, with that, we're gonna bounce out, and remember to live life with eyes wide open. And thank y'all, and thank you so much for the support. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye. Have a beautiful time.